going on, guys? About to check out Candace Owens speaking to someone named Olivia Bentley. I had no idea who this person was. I seen him on some podcast called the Whatever Podcast. It's kind of how I felt about the whole podcast in general. I was like, whatever. What does it mean? What that supposed to mean? Whatever. And that's what I was saying. I was just interview crazy chicks. But apparently Candace Owens went on there and smoked her boots, and now they had a rematch. We're not going to check out the full interview and conversation with them. I highly recommend that you do. We're going to check out a clip, right? We're going to check out a clip, but let's see what they have to say, fam.
So I'm just going to give a little bit of a background for people that perhaps missed the Whatever clips or people that did not watch it. Essentially, the Whatever podcast, one host named Brian, he sits down with...
It's not for me. It's not. I feel like it's the same thing, but there's no hate or shade to them. It's just not for me, right? It's just not a podcast that I could watch frequently. The clips is probably more entertaining than anything.
Sex workers, and typically he'll have on one or two conservatives, and he sort of just fosters a conversation. I was doing my documentary tour for Convicting a Murderer. We decided for me to jump onto the podcast, and I didn't really know what to expect going into it. But I know that before the cameras were rolling, you said to me, "What's your agenda?" Which was an interesting question to ask me before we started rolling. So why did you ask me that question?
I didn't know what to expect either. So I knew.
That is a crazy question to ask somebody, like, before you even start. Like, did you have an agenda? Was that what you were saying? You had an agenda that you were planning?
You were there to promote your documentary as well. So I'm like, well, how is this conversation going to go at the table with this many gals? And then we've got Candace coming in to promote something. So how, where will she go with it? How will this go? And it went, and there was a lot of talking, and I'm not one to get in and really interject. I'd rather have a one-on-one, if we're going to get into something more substantive. So it was interesting, to be on the show, and it was fun.
What was your overall takeaway, I guess, of everybody sitting down and the conversations that were had?
I think that it was certainly interesting. I think that when you have this many cooks in the kitchen and somebody saying one thing and somebody saying another, there's a little bit too much spin. And there were times it was hard to keep the subject matter focused. So maybe perhaps I was there to maybe represent a certain focal point.
I can't really argue with that, to be honest. I do feel that way when it comes to podcasts that have a huge amount of people on it, right? Like when it has like a huge group of people talking, right? It gets confusing, right? Because people want to start over talking each other, arguing, going back and forth. And usually the host is like, on certain podcasts, are passive and they can't really maintain control. Yeah, it is a little sus. I don't really rock with it. So I can't agree with that it is a little bit out of order when there's a lot of people on a podcast.
On the sex industry.
Or on a panel in general.
But then somebody else was there and wasn't even a sex worker, and that type of thing. So I thought it was good entertainment. The girls were getting at it. And I think that's what Brian wants. He wants to see these youngins have a go.
Which was interesting because I have done a lot of debates, and typically when I'm headed into a debate, it's a different me is what I would say. But in this particular conversation, I actually wanted to hear what the girls had to say. Like, I definitely did not have any animosity toward any of them. Mm-hmm. And as I said on the show, my heart really broke for that 22-year-old young girl saying that, she has slept with upwards of 10 men in one night. I just as a mom, I think that it just sort of destroyed me a bit. And I really did pray for her.
That sounds crazy. Yeah, praying for her would be the appropriate act, fam. That sounds like somebody that didn't have a father. 10 men? 10 men? The same. That, why? Like, how did that benefit you? That's so crazy. What was she doing? She all right? She can't be all right. I don't think she alright, man. I don't think she alright. There's no way. Like, there got to be some kind of pain. I wasn't even. That's crazy. I was talking about in the heart. I was talking about like emotional, maybe even some mental. It gotta be something going on in her life where she felt like it was like the right move for her to do that. Like, yeah, let me go and wild out with these people. I think that sums up. This is just my personal, but that's what I meant when I said that. I meant like emotional damage.
Her, even though she didn't ask for it. And you didn't say much during the particular podcast episode, but then you went onto Instagram and you kind of not attacked me, but you definitely had some choice words, I would say, and said that I was playing to my base.
So you wouldn't do a threesome with your husband?
Absolutely not, because he's my husband.
Did you have to ask that to get the answer?
I mean, there's married couples that want to have threesomes, and some of these ladies are bi-curious.
You should jump into those Reddit threads, because every single time that marriage ends in divorce. There's so many Reddit threads.
No, they don't.
And a lot of them actually do really well
over 5 years.
Okay.
And there's some that not divorced.
Do you believe atheists can get married?
I think
that's like both. As far, let me rewind that back because they sound like they about to get into something else. But honestly, it's like both when it comes to that type of scenario. I do think that it's possible to mess with another giant in the relationship and still be okay. But for one, the relationship got to be strong as heck, right? Because if you have more value than just your body, as in like he can actually be around you, hang out, right? You're supportive, right? You're not nagging, right? You're not trying to emasculate him. And you have that much high of a value and you like add to his life, right? He ain't gonna just mess with some other chicken and go, okay, deuces. That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all, fam, right? No. And honestly, when it comes to that bedroom activity, you can learn how to do whatever is needed to be done to make sure that your partner is good. That's facts, right? Communication is the key, really, for over everything, not just like bedroom, just everything. If you're in a relationship, communication is really the key. If someone feels a way, they feel offended, if they feel hurt, if there's something that usually you keep to yourself, no. Tell your partner. Let them know what's up. A simple communication or like conversation can fix so many things before it dwells and gets like bigger over time and then turns into you doing something different, right? Just talk to your partner, right? Be open. So for some relationships, it works. Some relationships, they know it's not going to work when it comes to including someone else.
Regulars
really
over
well
5
too.
years.
Okay.
And
there's some that do
divorced.
Do you believe atheists can get married?
I think atheists get married because they want a tax break. I don't see the point in an atheist getting married. Why don't you just live with your partner? Okay. Whoever it is that you're dating, you're at the stage you said, I don't know if you live with your boyfriend or whatever it is. Why take the next leap? If you're wearing crosses for fun and,
I mean, if you're actually asking the question, I mean, because then I would just be pledging the fact that I would want to be with them forever.
Well, to be honest, I don't think that should only apply to atheists because I'm a Christian and I don't believe in getting documentations and paperwork for a marriage. That just sounds crazy to me. I don't want the government in my ish. I don't. I believe in partnership, right? We make an agreement. We rocking with each other. We gonna roll with each other till the wheels fall off, right? That's cool by me. Like, that's what I prefer. I prefer a partnership. I'm not looking for paperwork and tax documents and all this. Nah, not right now. Not ever. I don't want paperwork. Man. I don't feel comfortable, right? I don't feel like I'm a slave, right? I don't like the whole paperwork thing. But I am a Christian, 100%. Jesus, man, Team Jesus all day, every day. Yep, strong believer. That's facts.
Well, you can just be with them forever. So what is it that you crave that when you want to get married? What's that next step for you? What does it mean? What's the difference between dating and marriage?
Because it's a commitment.
Is dating not a commitment?
It's a commitment, but it's saying a next step. It's solidifying it.
Okay, solidifying what? Because if
solidifying a bond between two people that love each other.
Okay, but what is solidified? If you can then jump into that next commitment, which is the exact same as dating, and you can sleep with other people and you can put topless photos on the internet, what are you getting married for? Pictures on Instagram to say you did it?
I mean, I'm not sleeping with other people.
What's the difference for you between dating and marriage?
I just told you it's a bond between two people. You're solidifying that by law. You're literally making it known. I want to be with this person forever.
By
it's just
law.
a simple breakup.
Which I thought I was nice.
By law. You hear that foolishness? So there's no other reason. By law is what they say. By law. Okay.
To you, I thought that I was nice to everyone that was there. I didn't say anything that was playing to my base. In the same way that you guys were talking about what you believed in and how you lived your lives, I was talking about what I believed in and how I lived my life without playing to anybody. So I was a bit surprised by your commentary.
So that is very interesting. I did not know very much about you. I knew of you. I'm a very busy athlete. And then being as it may in my profession, it's all physical work. It's all a lot of interpersonal, we're meeting with a lot of people. So I'm not watching a lot of television. And
why the hell are you going on a conversation podcast then? I'm not trying to come at this woman, but then why did you go to a conversation podcast? You should have interrupted them every time. Listen. If we ain't talking about getting physical and lifting weights, I don't know nothing. Raw. You just get up and storm out, pull the door knob off the handle, right? Like that type of stuff. Like, what are you doing?
Streaming, but I did know of you. So people were giving me a lot of emails and saying, "Do you think
I don't know
that she's
nothing?" Raw.
And I'm like, what do you mean by this? And do you think she's playing to her base and to the camera based on your knowledge? Well, let me go get a little background. So I did do some background work, and I would like to discuss some things to that effect. So people in the sex industry that are supportive of my take on it, that watched it, they felt that you too, maybe perhaps you were playing to a particular audience, and your audience is the conservative audience, the Christian.
Shorty, I'm about to say, did you just admit that you were playing to an audience? Did she just admit that she herself was playing to an audience? And then try to put that on Candace?
Audience. So
that's crazy.
You may very well be, very convicted authentically for how you feel. But that has been some of the questions posed, like that you're a professional provocateur, and that you take your take to appease a certain audience and base that you connect with, that really loves you, your fans and supporters. But that's just one segment of society versus like everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of the comments, they weren't, it was just like offhanded comments where, when I watched your documentary, you did a very good job.
Shorty, what are you talking about? No, I'm gonna be honest. What are you even talking about now? I don't think you even answered the question. I just hear a bunch of assumptions. You not even like allowing the back and forth for real. I don't think you even replied to the question that Candace asked you in the first place. Like, I don't think you even actually replied to that. I'm not sure. It didn't really sound like it. Sound like a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. Like, maybe I'm going crazy, but yeah, they really sound like like you actually saying anything. Man, maybe I'm bugging.
Job in terms of being a real investigative journalist, and you did your due diligence, and you went interview after interview, first person, and you laid out your story chronologically. And I'm like, that's really good work, and that's a good job, well done. But the way that the whatever podcast went, there were just these offhanded comments and then personal convictions and opinions.
Wow.
But the offhanded comments
So she wanted Candace to one by one investigate each of these women's lives on this podcast within the first few minutes of watching them, right? Or meeting them. Within the first few minutes of meeting them, she wanted her to do a deep dive into their lives as if she had Batman level detectives that she could just call and they could like send her a full report, right? And then she can analyze it to the degree of what took months or even years, as her documentaries do, of research, all until within the first few minutes of meeting someone and then giving a full opinion on what. Man, if you don't shut yourself up, man, shut up. Shut up. Man, what are you even talking about? Man, she sound crazy.
To implying that is so and that is true, it really actually creates a false narrative because none of it was really validated and substantiated. And we are in the game, like we have the the experience, the actual working experience. But also, I bring an education and a background to share with you as well.
Well, it's interesting that you would have me pegged as a professional provocateur in those circumstances, only because if you go back and you watch it, it's very obvious that the sex workers are trying to provoke me. You had the one young girl who was saying, and she was you guys were kind of jumping off of each other, but she was like, what if your husband comes to me and he wants to get pegged? I mean, that's trying to be provocative.
That's crazy. Why even offer that? why just invite that into the conversation? This is crazy.
Obvious, like the most extreme
circumstances.
Right?
Like that's obviously trying to be provocative and not trying to sincerely have a conversation.
Yeah.
When you say to someone, you're standing across from somebody who you know is a conservative and is a Christian, and you say, well, the cross is just cute. You're trying to be provocative. So it was interesting to me that I felt like I was extremely level-headed and I was responding to their provocative takes and I did not lose my cool or lose my head. And, if you're presenting yourself as somebody who's interested and open to having a dialogue and wanting to present your side, that you would wait until the conversation's over to then make a comment about me online when I was, as I said, very open and I think very kind to everyone, given the fact that it was pretty obvious that they were trying to provoke me and not the other way around.
Yes and no. I think, you went.
Yes and no. I hate when people do that. I really do hate when people do. Was she being gone after or quote unquote metaphorically attacked in the situation or not? Like, yes and no. I bet she's gonna say something like, well, you said some things back to you're not answering the question then.
At her and took a shot at her before she even opened up about that cross thing. And to me, that was just a stupid thing to talk about in the first place. For me, to argue about. I took a shot
at her. We just disagreed on the young woman who was not her, who did the video, who went online and was talking about not having kids.
Yeah,
she was very defensive of that woman, obviously, because she sees herself in that young woman. She's in her 30s. She's not married and she has no kids. And she may have taken
emotion. That's all it was. Straight emotions.
Personally, what my stance was that on that woman, but I wasn't talking to her. I didn't personalize it and say you're this or you're that. So I would definitely pause and ask you to rewatch it and really see who's being provocative because I was definitely interested to learn more about.
Did she just say that?
Is being provocative because I was definitely.
I don't like this person already. She just threw a "you felt like" in there. She's not. No. She's not saying what she felt like. She's saying what is. She's saying what it is, and you're saying, "Oh, you felt like." That's like you trying to pretend to validate what she's saying at the same time, not validate what she's saying. That's what you're doing. That's blatantly what you're doing, fam. Wow, that's nasty as heck. Nasty as ever.
Definitely interested to learn more about, especially the 22-year-old girl that was sitting across from me, but I didn't really have an interest one way or the other in the girl that I felt was intentionally being provocative and saying that she was wearing a cross to a Christian and saying that it's just cute and
just fashion
pretending that Jesus Christ, which by the way, historically, even if you don't have faith, Jesus Christ did exist. So she was saying these things to try to draw a reaction out of me, and I didn't give that to her. Hey guys, if you like this video, you are definitely going to...
Big facts. Guys, go and check out that full video, the full interview. I know it's definitely worth it, but this chick is over here sitting shots and acting like she not, right? And it's, oh, well, yeah, you felt like your feelings Like I hate that. I hate the like little fake passive aggressiveness. Right? I don't roll with it, but that's just my opinion. Tell me what you think down in the comment section. Hit the like button as well and share the video, fam. It's nasty, bro. Straight nasty out here in these streets. What's going on, guys? If you want to see me live stream, there's two options right now, currently. But now I'm going to be streaming on Twitch. You can go and follow me on there. And I'm also going to be live streaming on Rumble. You can go over and follow me on there. If you want to get access to my live streams and be able to watch the playback, that is the best way. Twitch and Rumble. See you guys later.